I don't know when to leave a relationship. Tough question to ask. Probably never want to be asking yourself this question, to be honest, but if you are, I'm going to help you answer it. Because if you're doubting your relationship, if you're in your head, or maybe you're starting to wonder, am I meant to be with this person forever? There's some things that I've realized over the last 6 years of coaching thousands of people on how to win in their relationships, that sometimes the best win is to walk away. The best win is to acknowledge that, hey, maybe this isn't the relationship for me. So I'm going to walk you through it step by step, one by one, and just know that this isn't gospel. Like what I'm sharing with you is things to take on board, to sit with some of this information, but ultimately try to get your relationship to the point where you're not at the stage where you really want to give up, because I never want to advocate for giving up on relationships. I think you should give it your absolute best. And ultimately, if you go through these 5 things that I'm about to share with you and you go, you know what? All 5 of those things are appropriate to me right now, then that could be your sign. That could be your sign. So let's start with number 1. And you'll know if this is relevant to you, if your relationship's humming along and you're having a great time and you guys are thriving. Maybe you don't need to hang around in this live today. This information could be relevant to you. But if it is something that you're contemplating, then these are the things to start with. Number 1, they are not willing to have hard conversations. They are to have hard convos. You could apply this, I'm obviously contextualizing this into romantic relationships, but it could be a business relationship. Whatever relationship you're in, the hard part is family relationships, because you're bonded by blood, and it's hard to just kind of go, you know what, I'm not going to interact with you anymore, because sometimes family members are the ones that aren't willing to do this. But if you're with someone and they're not willing to have a hard conversation, it becomes very difficult for the relationship to grow. It becomes very difficult for both of you to expand and go into deeper levels of connection with each other. Because in my experience, or in my time here in life, expansion happens through your willingness to have hard conversations. Life will expand around your ability to step into uncomfortable conversations. And if you're a people pleaser, or if you're a nice guy, or you're someone who has an aversion to conflict, then you'll know how significant it is to lean in and to speak up and to say what's on your heart, to bring something up in an interaction with someone that is really scary, of maybe upsetting that person or letting that person down, but you know that that's where the growth is. For me personally in my life, so much of my growth has come through the moments where I had to speak up, or I was in a business meeting, or I was in a call with I was in a room with a boss, or I had to share something that I was scared of speaking. I had to maybe confront some conflict. And being able to handle that tension is what stretches the nervous system's capacity to hold more life, to hold more energy. And if your partner that you're with is not willing to do that, they're avoiding that, then it's a huge red flag. It's a huge red flag that they're not on your level, or they're not willing to grow and expand. And if something's not growing and expanding, then you know what? It's kind of stagnating, and stagnation means death. So this is where if you're noticing someone you really care about right now, avoiding hard conversations, maybe bring this up around them. Just say, hey, look, I'm noticing we're avoiding some hard conversations right now. I'm noticing you're not willing to express to me what you're feeling. I'm noticing that you're just pulling away in really key moments. So address this early, the willingness to address the tension. I say to a lot of the people that I coach that there's transformational tension that has to happen when you're going through a period of growth. And if you're in that right now in your relationship, just know that doesn't mean it's the end of the line. Probably means that you're actually about to break through to another level, to another side, if you're willing to embrace the tension through hard conversations. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, you're evolving, but they're pulling you down. Okay, so now this is very common. Someone in the relationship is on their own growth journey and they're into personal development and they're doing all the things, but sometimes there's a person who's not on that process. They're not on that journey, and you can go through a period of questioning and doubt when you're in this stage. But the key thing in here is that if you're around someone and you're starting to grow, and you're starting to do this in a process, discovering all these things about yourself, and you're in self-help, it can actually become very triggering if you're around someone who's not doing that work. That other person is going to get triggered by you stepping into this new version of you. See this happen all the time in the guys that I coach. If their partner's not into this work and all of a sudden they're the one that's speaking up, leading conversations, saying what they mean, meaning what they say, creating relationship check-ins, asking for their partner to speak up and lean in, sometimes that can trigger their partner so much that they just shut down and fully pull away. That in the short term, that's okay, because we're all on our different journeys. We're all on different timelines. So you want to have some patience and grace with your partner if you're, 3 steps ahead of them in your own, self-awareness practice, or you're in your own personal development journey. Give them some grace, some space to discover this on their own. But if they're trying to pull you down, they're trying to pull you back to your old self because they're triggered by who you're becoming, then to me, that's a red flag. To me, they're not embracing and celebrating what you're stepping into in your own life, and what that could potentially create inside the relationship. You know what I mean? Again, same thing applies in business relationships. If you're with a business partner, they're trying to pull you down. They don't like who you're becoming. And you're like, well, what the hell? I don't get it. I'm doing all this work. I'm like trying to be a better person, but I'm around you. You're trying to bring back these old aspects that are no longer me. You get to monitor that and kind of take note of it. And then again, the key thing is bring it up around the person. If you're like, hey, you know what, sweetheart, my love, friend, brother, when I'm around you, it seems like I keep getting pulled back into these old ways. It's almost like you're not willing to honor that I'm changing. You're not willing to embrace this shift that's happening in my life. I just want to bring your awareness to it because, I want us to still be together, but if this keeps happening, if you keep trying to like condemn my progress, then this is not really someone I want to be around. This isn't really an aligned relationship for me anymore. So examine those people in your life right now. Who's trying to pull you down to who you were? It's unfortunate, but there is going to be a cutting, a shedding of certain people who are not congruent with who you're becoming and what you're trying to build in your world. And sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, is accept that you need some space from those people, okay? So don't let it deter you if someone is constantly not meeting you where you're at and they're trying to pull you down. Keep going on the path, but at the same time, give grace and space. If someone's not ready to fully be on your level, just give them some space, because if they're not pulling you down, maybe they just need to come to their own understanding in their own time. Or third sign that it might be time to leave a relationship or consider leaving it, they're making your life harder. So, in romantic relationships, I really think your partner should bring the best out of you. They should amplify you. They should make you a better man or a better woman. You guys should come together and you go, you know what, my life is easier because of you. I'm more confident because of you. I'm more expansive. I'm more creative. Attributes of you should be amplified in the presence of someone who is aligned for you. If you're around someone that you love and you're finding that your life is harder, something's incongruent, something's out of alignment. I had this client recently that I was coaching. I won't say his name, but he was in a long-term relationship with his wife, and he was just finding that everywhere he went, she was never happy. Every business that he would try to start, the project would get stalled because she was just pulling so much from him in the business. No matter what he did for her, she was never happy. And he found himself just like carrying around this pressure and this weight in his life because no matter what he did, she wasn't willing to give back to him. She was just taking. And it got to the point where he was so overwhelmed and exhausted from the relationship because he loved this woman so much, he just wanted to keep giving to her, but ultimately it was compromising him. He was sacrificing himself. He was abandoning himself to try and give to someone who wasn't giving back to him. His life got harder. And it got to the point when we were working together and we were coaching together, and he realized through some of these things that this relationship had to end. Had to end the relationship. That had to divorce from his wife. And in doing so, all this clarity, all this creativity, all this freedom came back again. I forgot to mention she was judging him or, telling him he couldn't do some of the things that he loved, like hang out with his friends or go play certain sports or do these things that brought him alive. So huge red flags here if your person is making your life harder. And I want you to reflect on this because, ultimately, sometimes the people that you care about in the short term are going to challenge you. If someone really cares about you, if someone really loves you, they're going to challenge you. They're going to want to call you forward if you're out of integrity, and that's hard. So know the difference. There's discernment there because there's different kinds of hard. Your partner, again, is not always going to be love and light. You want them really bringing the best out of you through challenging you in the right ways. But if they're just making your life difficult, there just could be something that's incongruent. There's out of alignment in that. I think if someone's making your life harder, because ultimately you don't have to divorce from your wife or your partner or your husband if you're going hey, my husband's a pain in the ass, my wife's a pain in the ass, I need to divorce them, they make my life hard. No, maybe you're not setting things up for them. Maybe you're not communicating clearly. Maybe you're not giving them the opportunity to make your life easier. I had this analogy from another client that I was working with, Chris, who in his relationship, he was running he runs a big engineering company. And he said to me, I just want my partner to block and tackle for me. He used the terminology of football, like him being the quarterback. He wants to come home and his wife has helped make life a little bit easier. She's taking care of some things. She's blocking and tackling. In football terms, the quarterback's the one who's seeing the play. He's throwing the ball, and his defenders are the ones that are blocking off the opponents. So he has the space to make the right play. And in a high-performing relationship, especially a high-performing man who's running a business, he needs a wife who can block and tackle. He needs a wife that can just help pick things up, help move the needle. Because most of the time the man is so many things that he's doing at one time if he's running a business. But if his wife's just slacking off and lazing around at the house, she's not really pulling her weight, or she's just expecting everything to be done for her, then he's going to run out of capacity pretty quick. She's going to start weighing down the ship. You know what I mean? So use that terminology too. And ultimately, if you're both together and you're both willing to work for each other, you'll see little things that can be done for your partner. You do it out of an act of love because you want to make your partner's life a little bit easier. Because when one person wins, we all win. The family wins. So think about that. Are you making your partner's life easier? Is your partner making your life easier? Because if you're not, it might be time to pick up in this area, okay? So let's get to number 4. Tried your best, learnt the lessons, but they still aren't open. It's a long point, but it's important because there will come a time in a relationship, if it's not meant to be, where you've done everything you can. You've tried your best to make the relationship work. And you've learned the lessons from the relationship, because I believe every relationship comes into our life in a specific season of our journey, a season of our evolution, to gift us to learn certain things about ourselves that a relationship will mirror back. And if you've got to the stage where you've gone, you know, I've given this relationship my all, and I've learned a lot, but I'm no longer learning from this relationship. The growth for me, the lessons from this relationship is no longer emerging, it's capped. And maybe that person is still not open to meeting you where you're at. And at that stage, that's when you can acknowledge, you know what, I can hold my head high and go, you know what, I gave this a red hot go. And anytime a guy comes to me who's on the brink of ending a relationship, or, you know, feeling like his marriage is falling apart, I'll always push him to try and extract every ounce of lesson from that relationship by showing up in the best way that he can to lead, to provide, to support his partner, and give the relationship every opportunity to discover what it could be. But there does come a point where you have to go, you know what, this ain't it right now. I've learned what I need to learn. And ultimately, that's a beautiful phase, because the breakup, the relationship can end in a very civil place, and you can walk away, not like you'll still be grieving, but you'll walk away knowing that something's better for me, something better out there for me. And you can trust that who you've become in the process, in the breakdown of your last relationship, has set you up to attract someone way more aligned. If you think of everything as a frequency, I speak about this a lot. As you go through growth and lessons in your relationship, what happens is your frequency will start to change. Very often, we're all changing energies as we go through a process of personal development. But if you shift your energy too far above, like your consciousness rises too high and your partner's not doing that work as well, then all of a sudden, who you were when you met your partner, so this is an important point, okay? We're gonna do number 5, the final lesson, or the final point. You justify why you're with them. You get through all these 4 points, you're still ignoring the signs. This is very often what you're left with. Your mind justifying why you should be with this person. Yeah, but they pay for all my bills. Or yeah, but they're great at cooking. Oh yeah, but they're a great mum. Like, but they're treating you like shit. But you feel like crap. You're not learning. You're getting pulled down. Your life is 70%. If you're justifying why you should be with someone, you probably shouldn't be with them. In fact, if you're justifying why you're doing anything, you probably shouldn't be doing it. If you think back to if you have a son or a daughter, or you know, someone you really love in your life, do you have to justify why you love that person? No, it's just like, it's innate. It's built into your soul. Your nature is like, I love this. I love my dog. I love it. I don't have to justify why I love my dog because he runs really fast. So yeah, therefore I'm gonna love him. No, you love someone because you love them. But if that love is not there anymore and you're justifying why you should be with them, it's a bit of a red flag, in my opinion. And apply this to anything else in your life. If you're justifying why you're doing your work, if you justify why you come down and plug in at your laptop or go to your 9-to-5 job, oh yeah, it pays the bills, like the benefits are great, I've got a retirement package, so I'm just gonna stay at this job that I don't really enjoy. Can you see how that's ignoring your soul? You're ignoring your highest potential. You're actually blocking something far greater from coming into your life by holding on to the things that are not aligned, the things that aren't 10 out of 10. So where are you justifying in your life what you should be doing? Why are you justifying why you should be with this person? Not just romantically, friends as well. You're justifying why you should have this friend in your life. But you know deep down when you're around them, I don't feel really, really good around this. But every time I'm around this person, I end up taking drugs or drinking or smoking. Like, you feel like crap. So if you're not honoring that every single person in your life is either expanding you or contracting you, they're either supporting who you're becoming or they're keeping you stuck at a certain level. So a great thing to do with this is like just create a list of all the things that are in alignment in your life and rank it out of 10. List of all the people that you hang out with, list of all the activities you do. If you run a business, is a great exercise. All the things you do on a day-to-day basis, reading emails, making content, calling clients, like rank it all on a scale of 1 to 10. If it's not 10 out of 10 aligned, automate, delegate, eliminate, just remove it. And same thing, you can't automate or delegate people to hang out with, but you get the point. Just remove them from your life because you want to create space for things that are 10 out of 10, things that light your soul on fire. Because why settle for less? Why would you settle for less? You deserve to live a life that's fully congruent to your highest potential. I think you get the point. So I'll leave it there, guys. These 5 points, review, consider, doesn't apply to romantic relationships. It applies to all relationships, anything, including your work, your health, your food, your money, all of it. Examine your alignment, examine these things. And ultimately remember, if you're on the fence and you're like, fuck, I don't know if my relationship's it, just know that the doubt and the uncertainty and the confusion is normal. Just accept it. Don't go into judging and resisting yourself or allowing a relationship to go on longer than it should. It just takes a bit of space for you to step back and contemplate and sit with, am I honoring myself or am I abandoning myself? Okay? If you keep coming back to that, if you keep honoring yourself and prioritizing what you need to feel your fullest, to feel your most joy, to feel the most alive. And then over time, you keep realizing that, hey, God, spirit, the universe is giving you signs, or it keeps telling you, and it will do this. Like God will give you all little ways to tell you that, hey, this relationship isn't aligned for you anymore. And it's up to you to listen to that. It's up to you to honor that and acknowledge that, you know what, maybe it's time to rip the band-aid off. It's hard, but it will be the greatest thing for you because you'll make space for something new and something beautiful to come into your life. All right, guys, I have a relationship school. There's about 3 or 4 days left to join. If you want to go deeper and get some more support with navigating relational dynamics like this, or just showing up better and leading with more confidence and security in your relationship, you want to join that, comment school in the video, or just go into my Instagram bio and click it. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just check out the link in the description. It's going to be an absolute game changer, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. That's all for now. Thanks for tuning in.